How's it going, guys? It's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to use a torque wrench and what not to do with your torque wrench so it stays accurate. Okay guys, so here we have a torque wrench we use a lot. This is just a cheap Harbor Freight torque wrench. If something happens to it, you just toss it. If you catch these on sale, they're about $11.99. Now there's several different kinds of torque wrenches. You have digital ones. This is a click type, and you also have the gauge kind, which have the actual manual gauge on here, and as you pull it, the needle flips over, and it usually has a rod run along the outside. Now, most torque wrenches come in a carry case like this. Back up a little bit. We're inside here, so hopefully you can see the numbers on the torque wrench a little bit better. It's always wise to keep your torque wrench in the carry case at all times. Here's something else you never want to do. You never want to bang this on anything. You'll be very careful not to drop this. Any kind of blunt force to this will knock the calibration off. You never want to use this as a breaker bar. I have a little bit, but I always turn it all the way down. The most important thing, I want to recommend that, by the way. The most important thing with the torque wrench you have to understand, there's two different things actually. Once you're done, and on these screw types, let me put you on the tripod and we'll get you a better shot. Okay, so on these, not screw types, click types, you can see that or not, I turned the white balance down a little bit. You have numbers up here. Let's see if you even, will you even focus? There we go. So you have all the numbers up here, and as foot-pounds on one side, most of them have the Newton meters or even inch pounds, depends on the size of your torque wrench, on the other side. What you're going to want to do here, it's all the way down. So when you store it, it's always all the way down. If you leave it turned up and store it, it'll eventually stretch a spring. Okay, so we're going to turn, you see these numbers down here, it has 0, and then it has what, 1 through, well, this one's a little bit different. This basically has 1 through 4.5. So let's say you want something at 30 pounds. So 30 pounds is right there. And you can see the little notch right there. So we're going to turn this up until it hits the 30. All right, we're getting close. And you see a little notch, has a little, this one has a little angle, it goes, dips down. And we're going to hit the 30 right there. You should be able to see that on the camera, hopefully. And so let's say your torque is at 33, or yeah, let's say 33. So you're going to turn this a little further, and this is numbered. You're going to turn this to the 3. And then this guy has a little dial on the bottom. You turn and it locks it in. It tightens it up. Okay? You don't have to use the dial on the bottom. You can if you want. So that's how you use a torque wrench. And then let's go back here a minute. I'll show you one more thing. If you flip it over, then it crosses over to your Newton meters. And then you can adjust that. Or inch pounds, depends on your torque wrench. So pretty easy to use. You never want to torque everything all in one go. We're going to show you a demonstrate on that. There's something else you want to look for too. If you use long extensions on this guy, if you have like a 6-inch extension on this, it's going to change your final torque a little bit. You might have to compensate for that. A lot of you guys only have access to a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench. Those are the most common. A lot of times you have a 1/2-inch drive adapter that goes down to the 3/8. Sometimes even a 1/4 inch. You have to compensate for that a little bit too. So basically what we're going to do here, we're going to go outside, we're going to put this on some lug nuts, and we're going to demonstrate exactly how to torque stuff down. Okay, so here we are. We're going to use this Tundra as an example. So we just loosen up all the lug nuts, and I don't remember what these are even supposed to be torqued at. Let's say, I don't know, 65 foot-pounds. All right, so we're going to start the first cycle. We're just going to basically snug them up using a crisscross pattern. And we're going to run 3 different sequences on this. First one is snugged up, and we did change to our 1/2-inch drive torque wrench for this one. So let's see if it'll even focus in. Will you focus? Come on. All right, so first of all, let's go to 25 foot-pounds. I don't know, it's not having the... There we go. We're going to first go to 25 foot-pounds. That'll be the first sequence. 20. And there's 5. I'll go and tighten up our little deal on the end. And let's go ahead and torque that. And you can hear it's going to click. But the lighter the torque is, the less it's going to click. And you see me crisscrossing the bolts. Alright, once we're to that, we're going to go ahead and undo our wrench. And we're going to go ahead and crank it up to just go 65. There's 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just go to 70. That should be no problem. Might have been out of focus last time. There we go. And on the final sequence, we're going to go to 70. And once you've finished it, we'll go one more just to make sure they're all still tight. I want to move just a little bit. And there we go. Okay, we're back inside. We're going to go ahead and turn down our torque wrench at this point. Unscrew that and throttle it back down. Now, the most common place to use a torque wrench is for tightening down head bolts, cylinder head bolts in a car. I would say that's 90% of what people buy a torque wrench for. What you need to remember when you tighten down head bolts in a car, make sure that the bolt holes are clear of any oil or any coolant or anything at all. Make sure they're nice and dry. The head bolts may require a drop of oil on each bolt. That is going to ensure the correct torque spec. Also, make sure you have the washers for the bolts, because if you do not, that's also going to affect the torque spec. That's it, guys. That's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and that is my how to correctly use a torque wrench and how not to mess it up. Thanks for watching, guys.